Every biker has a burning desire to be lightning fast, butter smooth, and completely in control of his motorcycle. This is a quest that brought a variety of riders from all over India to the California Superbike School in Chennai.
Hi, this is Anup Jamtani. I'm from Pune. I'm 28 years old.
I'm from Mumbai. My name is Parvez Patel. I'm 57.
The California Superbike School is many things to many riders. We train very new riders, we train veteran racers, we train young riders who then become racers, we train people who are in the middle of their midlife crisis and have gotten their motorcycle and they're trying to, they got divorced and now they want to go have fun. All of the above. It's every type of a rider, but what does it come down to? It comes down to having fun.
And if you happen to ride motorcycles like these, skill makes all the difference.
We are a group of superbikers who've come together and formed this club. 600cc plus machines, we are 35 odd members and we do Sunday rides in Pune.
My motorcycle for the weekend was this, Honda's race-prepped CBR 250R. It had no lights or a stand, but it had a few extras for the racetrack, like a steering damper, special S-sprung forks, and an overall stiffer suspension setup. And of course, it wore sticky MRF rubber. Its engine used a programmable ECU from HRC, and that huge free-flow exhaust was loud. All it needed was a tank full of 97 octane. And after the safety briefing, we were all set to hit the track.
Okay, we're gonna go out for a couple of sighting laps, but this is the kind of stuff I'm really worried about. We're gonna be riding around without brakes. It's just meant to get your throttle control spot on.
Without the safety net of brakes or a speedometer to rely on, I had to judge my entry speed into corners. Normally, while exiting a corner, I would just snap the throttle open, but now I was forced to be smooth. This was only the first of many lessons to come that day. From the racetrack, we hopped into the classrooms to soak in some riding techniques. There was a proper curriculum chalked out for the 3 days.
Level 1 is mainly concerned with what the rider is doing to the motorcycle. It's very objective, what they're doing with the throttle, where they're turning, how quickly they're turning, are they relaxing the bars, things like that. Level 2 gets into what the person is doing with their eyes, visually. And we've taken the visual aspect of riding and broke it down into little sections or different techniques that we run the rider through in Level 2. Level 3 mainly concerns itself with how the rider and the motorcycle interact physically.
But our first day was focused on getting the basics right. The coaches had used big yellow crosses on the racetrack to mark the turn-in points. Then using the quick turn technique, we had to use counter steer to turn the bikes quickly into the corner. I was struggling to put the exercise into action, but the coaches were there on hand even on the track to help you out. My progress, or rather the lack of it, was noted by my coach, Gary, and he promptly hauled me into the pits.
Okay, I certainly am feeling like I'm in school because my teacher, Gary, isn't very happy with my work. Not happy at all, actually. I need to ease up and I need to lean less, and for that I need to slow down a bit and just focus on what they've told us, which is to control throttle, turn in quickly, and well, I'm gonna work on that for sure in the second half now.
The afternoon's classroom sessions threw even more techniques at us. Later on, when I hit the racetrack, I was riding at a slower pace, and this actually made time for me to try out the exercises. I started to get my turn-in points a lot better, and I started to use my vision better too. I knew I was getting better, but I had a long way to go.
So relieved. The second half went much better than the first half, but this is only the first day. It's time for us to take a break for the CBR 250R race spec bike to get a rest, as well as all the other bikes. I'm going to take some rest too, and then we'll catch up for day 2.
Next morning at 7 o'clock, there was a special exercise in store for the first time CSS students. This was to help us hone our steering skills. It wasn't as easy as it looked. Finally, I got it. After that, we queued up in the pit lane. Our coaches dropped in to say a quick hello, and then we were shooed out onto the track. Now we had to find reference points to replace those convenient X marks. I thought I was doing quite well until my coach Dylan came along and started pointing out reference points. It seemed like the whole track was littered with them. Class after class, there was something new to try and marvel at its impact. We started looking further ahead into the corners and at the exits. We learned to widen our vision. We even rode on the dirty part of the track, just to see whether it really was as dirty as we imagined it to be. As it turned out, it wasn't. The day went smoothly, and I felt more in control and optimistic about level 3.
Okay, I'm not quite done digesting what I've learned over the first 2 days, but it's already the third day and we're up to level 3. What we're going to be focusing now on today is how to interact with the motorcycle. What does that mean? I guess I'll find out over the rest of the day.
The coaches promised us that level 3 would be very physical, and they weren't kidding.
We can use the fact that we're locked onto the motorcycle.
One by one, we practiced the hook turn, pivot turn, knee to knee, and hip flick, all in the classroom. And then we tried to put it in practice out on the track. Every exercise needed us to use our legs more, and more.
This has just been so exhausting. My knees are hurting, my thighs are hurting, and it's only halfway through day 3. I hope I can walk at the end of the day.
With more practice, I felt more confident and more sure on the motorcycle. The difference was massive, and I wasn't the only one who was experiencing it.
Maybe not day-to-day basis in Bombay traffic, but definitely when I go for a ride on Sundays, it's definitely going to help me. It's worth the money, value for money, fun.
They have a really scientific, step-by-step sort of a process where they've broken down cornering and steering and everything. So it's good, and the way they explain it in the classroom with all the diagrams and stuff like that. So that helps a lot.
After the training, you can really enjoy the track. You can feel your bike. You can feel what it feels on a racetrack. It's just like watching a MotoGP on a TV and doing it really on yourself. It's too good.
And all this is thanks to the efforts of Preethi Appliances.
My father's always been a fan of riding, so he went to the States in the early 90s and he did the school there. And ever since he did it, he was hooked, and he made it his mission to bring the school to India because he recognized there's a lot of talent in the country, but no formal platform where we could give Indian riders proper formal training and coaching, access to world-class training and track time. Took him the better part of 14 years to bring the school here, but we finally pulled it off in 2010, and the rest is history. And also, of course, to do the school, run it more than once a year, we're going to need a lot of support from sponsors, manufacturers.
I certainly hope that CSS and Preethi find more partners in India. While this course costs 40,000 rupees in India, in other parts of the world it costs well over a couple of lakhs. And for the keen rider, that's money well spent. Simply because it's the quickest and easiest way to become a faster and more capable rider.
I'm just so glad to get out of my leather, sit back, relax, and not think about getting up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and come to the track. Okay, but still, California Superbike School is gonna be hard to get over because what they've delivered, it's kind of hard to explain. You remember in fairy tales there's that magic potion that can make people fall in love with you? It's just kind of like that. There's just many special ingredients that go into creating what they call a technology to make riders safer, faster, and more confident. I've experienced it. It's fantastic. I would say the experience actually is almost magical.